Kalen DeBoer, with a calm smile and eyes of a predator, just dropped a quiet warning that will freeze the blood of every rival in the SEC. It wasn't a threat, it wasn't trash talk, it was something far more dangerous, a message whispered in silence, understood only by those who live this game from the inside. It wasn't just a phrase, it was a declaration of war, the kind that changes the way everyone looks at Alabama. For months, the experts laughed, the rivals mocked, and the media dared to say that Alabama was rebuilding, as if this program had ever stopped building. But what Kalen DeBoer revealed this week is something entirely different. A new Alabama is being born, a team that doesn't talk, doesn't react, and doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. A promise that the SEC will never sleep peacefully again as long as this man is in charge. Because what he said and what's behind what he said means the game has changed forever. The scoreboard said victory, but anyone who watched that game knows something about it felt strange. Alabama beat Vanderbilt, but the first quarter felt uncomfortable. The offense was stuck, the rhythm off, and in the stands, you could hear the whispers start to spread. Is this team really that good? Analysts repeated their favorite old line. This isn't the Alabama we used to know. DeBoer doesn't understand the SEC yet. This team has lost its edge. But while everyone else was watching the numbers, DeBoer was watching something else. He was watching behavior. While fans grew restless after those opening drives, he was looking at the sideline and no one was flinching. No one was blaming. No one was pointing fingers. It was as if the team had made an invisible pact. No matter what happens out there, we don't retreat. And when the clock kept ticking, the scoreboard flipped. Not with flash, not with fireworks, but with control, with precision, with cold blood. That strange win, the one critics brushed off, was exactly what DeBoer wanted to see. A team that can win without being perfect. A team that stays standing when the rhythm breaks. A team that doesn't crumble even for a second. After the game, people expected the usual from a head coach. Excuses, adjustments, explanations. But DeBoer didn't give any. No justification, no apology, no relief. The press conference was cold, controlled, unshakable. When a reporter asked about the slow start, he smiled and said, "We never flinched." That single line changed the entire atmosphere. Because DeBoer wasn't talking about schemes or play calls. He was talking about something much deeper: resilience, fight, energy, belief. He said, "Our guys are understanding the fight it takes every week in the SEC for 4 quarters to get a win." That wasn't coach speak, it was code. It meant Alabama is learning to suffer again and to like it. No big smile, no hype, just the calm of a man who knows what's coming. To outsiders, it sounded boring, but to those who understand mindset, it was terrifying. Because that kind of calm, that silence, is the silence before the storm. DeBoer didn't need to convince anyone. He already convinced the only people who matter, the ones in the locker room. When the conversation turned to Ty Simpson, DeBoer showed exactly what sets him apart. He didn't protect Ty, but he didn't throw him under the bus either. He said Ty had called some of his plays unacceptable and ridiculous, and that he was right. Then he said something that defined the entire press conference. He doesn't have to prove he can do it anymore. Now it's about leadership. That line changed everything, because it wasn't just about Ty Simpson. It was about everyone in that building. DeBoer is turning Alabama into a team emotionally bulletproof. A team that doesn't play for approval, doesn't react to praise, and doesn't care about outside noise. And when he was asked about that outside pressure, he didn't even blink. He said, "They haven't listened to what's outside. Whether it's the criticism or the pats on the back, it means nothing." Silence. Focus. Coldness. That's the new Alabama. While the rest of the SEC feeds on narratives, Alabama is feeding on discipline. And that's what makes them so dangerous. Because DeBoer isn't celebrating wins, he's studying imperfections. He's teaching a group of young men not to get emotional about success and not to panic when something goes wrong. That's how dynasties are built, quietly. Then came the moment everyone remembers. At the very end of the press conference, DeBoer looked around, paused, and said, "We can see what the ceiling is, and it's much higher than what we showed on Saturday." A short sentence, but it shook the room. Because until that moment, the national narrative was simple. Alabama was finding itself. But what DeBoer was really saying is that Alabama hasn't even begun to show its true level. The ceiling is gone. The word limit no longer exists. And when you remove the ceiling from a program like Alabama, what's left is something no defense in the SEC can prepare for. It wasn't a threat, it was a statement, and his calm tone made it even more dangerous. He spoke like a man who's already seen what's coming, like someone who knows his team hasn't even hit second gear yet. While others obsess over stats and rankings, DeBoer is obsessed with process, repetition, and mindset. And that's what terrifies the rest of the conference. Because you can game plan for talent, but you can't defend against conviction. And this Alabama is conviction in motion. What happened in Nashville wasn't just a win. It was proof of evolution. Alabama on the outside looks calm, but on the inside, there's a revolution happening. This team isn't just winning, it's transforming. And that transformation is invisible. You can't measure it in yards or touchdowns, but it's there. In every focused stare on the sideline, in every word left unsaid, in every time they refuse to react to the outside noise. It's the rebirth of a dynasty, only colder, sharper, more calculated. While the rest of the SEC tries to figure it out, Alabama just keeps moving, in silence. DeBoer doesn't want a team that plays well. He wants a team that becomes inevitable. And when you understand that, you understand what he really meant by saying, the ceiling is much higher. It wasn't a metaphor. It was a warning. Alabama hasn't even come close to its peak, and the rest of the SEC is about to find that out the hard way. Do you think the SEC is ready for this new Alabama? A team that doesn't react, doesn't respond, and doesn't need validation? It just builds? Leave your comment and share this message before it's too late for the rivals, because Alabama's silence isn't peace. It's the sound of something unstoppable on the way.